empty all of my frustration to this MIC. Someday I will be 12 steps above great, underrated, maybe sure. All in all, I'm straight. Life is dope.
What's going on, guys? You're listening to The Bro Show on 91.3 FM, KWM, West Wyoming Community College. I'm your host, K-Dot, aka Caden Hansen, and today we've got some very special people on the show today. We got we got T00M3R Gentry Fox in the studio today. What's going on, guys?
Yo, what's up, dude? Thank you for having us, bro.
What's up? Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
I guess to just kind of get started off, like, let's talk about the show that we're about to be doing on Saturday.
Yeah, I guess that spotlight on me.
Yeah.
You know, nothing's perfect. You know, that's life for you. Nothing's perfect. We all have these concepts and these ideas of how we want things to go, and you can always act and try your hardest. But man, if you're thinking about it, chances are it's not gonna turn out how you think. So you just got to keep doing and know that nothing's perfect. So we're gonna know that nothing's perfect and throw
I
a
don't know.
concert
That album's pretty good, though. I think it's pretty close to perfect.
Yeah.
You're too sweet. But yeah, so we're gonna put this album out. I've been working on it for like 3 years. I'm really stoked and eager for everybody to hear it. So yeah, we're gonna rock this show Saturday night, Broadway Theater, April 17th. It's at 7 o'clock. We're gonna do an open mic and give everybody an opportunity in the community to really come together and try to get themselves heard.
Who's coming out to that? Like, who's all on the open mics like section?
Oh man.
Let's see. I don't have the list on me. Quite a few good homies.
Yeah,
Fierce.
we got a bunch of good.
Yeah,
homies.
actually, Fierce is Treasy was originally going to be on the bill. It was going to be Yumi, T00M3R, and Treasy. But I guess he had surgery.
Oh,
I
really?
think had his gallbladder taken out.
Yeah, he said it was nothing like serious or crazy, but
Not sure.
He's gonna be on bed rest.
But
so
yeah,
well soon, Treasy. But we had to fill your place. Man. So the homie Taylor Fry, Mr.
Fierce is filling in.
Yeah, Fierce is like, other than Gentry, because I did some stuff with Gentry, and I have some homies I've done some songs with. But like on an album, Fierce is the only other person I've ever like done a feature with or done music with. So I had to put him on for sure.
Hey.
So,
Yeah, I know Fierce a little bit. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, he's dope.
I know my homie Mitch is gonna be at the open mic. I know Micah Paisley's gonna be at the open mic. I hope my boy Will Stevens.
Yeah. Dylan Hadley's gonna be there too.
Dylan Hadley's gonna be there. I hope Young C shows up. I told Young C to come.
Hey, Young C.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody that wants to come rock a track, you know, it's from 7 to 8, the open mic. So we're gonna let everybody have a turn on the mic, and then we're gonna get into the show, and we're gonna have tons of cool stuff to give you guys, and super stoked about it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I've never really done anything like this for an album. Gentry really inspired me with his last couple releases to really get serious about, you know, making it known that we're putting out a record and that it's gonna be worth listening to, and give them a really cool experience to show them that it's worth listening to. So.
Agree. It's gonna be fun. This is our third official Sub Rock show
At the Broadway.
Yeah.
At the Broadway.
Hey.
Yeah, so we taking that place over.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, like you guys know this too, but this is like gonna be my first show doing a live set. So
Yeah,
I'm super stoked. I mean, you know, just like growing up listening to these guys, you know, familiar with them, and then finally, you know, like after we did the first show, the first Rock Springs show, I had Gentry hit me up, and then we just kind of like connected in the DMs, and then he just like, I asked him about like the shows and stuff, because I saw that they've been doing like all the Sub Rock like live shows and stuff, and then he was just like, you know, open arms, like just wanted to get me on board, and like I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And I'm just like hella hype. I don't know, like it's usually with like these gigs, I'm just like usually very nervous for gigs, like weddings, whatever I do. Like I'm always nervous, but like for this, I'm like excited, nervous. Like I'm just hyped, like just to be like engulfed in the Rock Springs or like the rap scene here.
Yeah,
but
it's something positive to take part in, and not like, I don't know, you can take pride in it. You could say all kinds of neat things about it, but it's the truth. It's what's going on, man. So that's what we're all about, is just bringing people together and being real and sharing good vibes.
Hey, for real.
So-
So that is this Saturday, April 17th. Doors open at 8, and I believe it lasts till 11:30, right?
Mhm,
Yeah, something like that. I'd say till around 10, 11. Probably have like a group open mic cipher like after Tumor's set.
At the end,
Hey.
Yeah, just have anybody who wants to come up and rock the mic, throw on some
Hey.
beats and just do a big old group rap session.
That's what we did at the last show. It turned out super
that was way
legit.
fun.
People were coming on stage and dancing, and people were dancing down in the
What-
in the
what-
crowd. And
What was that one show I saw Gentry like walking around with his shirt off and stuff? Like,
No, I don't take my shirt off.
No,
I don't know what
that-
you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man.
no?
It might have been. Have you ever seen me perform before?
Tumor rips his shirt off all the time.
Oh
He
my
can't,
God,
he
I
can't
can't
go
help
5
it.
minutes without a shirt
Can't
off.
help
Over.
Without a shirt off.
I must be thinking about somebody else then. I don't know. Maybe it was like on the set. Maybe it was somebody else like on your set.
Yo,
but,
it gets
yeah.
hot under them lights on stage.
yeah,
Fucking sweat.
that would make sense. Yeah, he's hot as hell.
Yeah, for
So, besides the show, let's kind of just get into this. So, how old are you guys?
I'm 21. I turned 21 in December.
And I am 29. I will be
Hey.
30 in August.
Dang.
2 months. I'm an old man now. What happened?
He's the goat. He's big brother. Gentry's big brother.
And I guess everybody that's wondering how old I am, I'm 18, about to turn 19 in a couple weeks. So
Nice.
it's kind of a bit of like an age difference. It's cool to get like these older guys in here. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro, because I started when I was super young, man.
Huh.
Like I started like actually doing music, like playing music and stuff when I was just like a baby.
Yeah.
Like I was always around like guitars and stuff because my dad was a guitarist and he had bands and stuff. So I got to be around like drums and equipment and stuff. So I grew up like on metal music and shit. And then
Hey.
when I was like 10, my homie showed me Skrillex for the first time, and I was like, yo. Everybody in my family's musicians. Like, I gotta take it to the next level with the computer. And then I did that for like 5 years, and then when I was so I was 10 when I started producing. Okay,
Damn.
so
Like with the DAW and everything?
yeah.
Holy
yeah.
shit,
I started with FL Studio, and I played around with this thing called Craft and some other programs and stuff. And as I got older, I got to try other programs like Ableton and like Logic and Studio One.
You ever try Propeller Head?
Nah. No. FL Studio is my baby. So that's what I've always used. It was when I was 15 though, when I was like really serious about rapping.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What about you, Gentry? Like, when did you
man.
start getting rapping and stuff?
Let's see. I probably started rapping and writing when I was like 11, 12. I started making beats probably way before that. I'd say around 10. Well, about 10, 11 is when I first started making
Damn,
beats.
you guys started hella young.
We were very
Yeah.
fortunate.
Yeah, started around then, but I was like too insecure in my own style to like really let it be known, and I just never felt like I had what it took at all. My beats were okay, I guess, but yeah, I kind of kept all that stuff on the down low for a really long time, and then when I was in high school, I like started to doing drunken freestyle ciphers at house parties and just kind of breaking out of my shell a little bit. And every day I'd like practice trying to write, and I could just I get a little bit closer every day. But it wasn't until I was around 21 that like I actually decided to take it seriously. I was living down in Salt Lake, like, and I'd go to all these shows and I'd see all these local artists that I looked up to, and eventually I got offered to get on a gig. Like, it was like 15 minutes or something, and I didn't have any tracks like any tracks at all prepared.
It's
And
the
I'm
worst.
like, all right, dude, I'll just take 3 beats of mine and try to assemble a few 16-bar verses and put it all together on the spot. And I got away with it that one time. And after that, I was just sold. I was like, all right,
Yeah, start rapping.
let's start doing this
Yeah.
for real.
If I'm being honest and I'm being real, I had a problem with this lady that I know named Mary Jane. I've known her since I was like 13, like very seriously. Like we really started seeing each other.
I love that girl.
Yeah, but she eats up a lot of my time. Not anymore, not as much anymore. But then that's really like what was getting me into hip hop, was like doing that and listening to hip hop and like just really like trying to open my mind outside of like the walls that had been constructed for me.
Yeah.
And then when I was like 15, like before I started rapping, I had an experience with my friend named Silo. He's a silly fun guy.
Silly Simon.
Silly Simon. And a lot of things really came together like in that experience for me, and like I never really got into that stuff. I just had like the one experience, and it was very like enlightening, and that really is what inspired me to start rapping. That's why I have like the sort of psychedelic like conscious theme that I do that prevails through the raps and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of like the music is like down to earth, like hip hop, genuine roots, like very hip hop, lots of hip hop elements infused with like new style, you know. So you'll hear like some kicks and some snares that, and like some hi-hats and stuff that it's like a trap beat, but it's not a trap beat.
Yeah.
Because of the samples and stuff. So like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the music that you make is like the kind of stuff that I always wanted to make when I was around your age. Like, so
very flattering.
Yeah, and you inspire me for real. Like seeing you, put all that stuff out there is like, damn, dude. If only I wouldn't have been so reserved and self-conscious when I was that age.
And
I would have just like started putting it out, and
Yeah.
would have been a lot more to view, like as far as my progression and my story.
And I just like searched and like accumulated my own, like the resources on my own, and like I don't know, you really can do like whatever you want to do, and like the power is at your fingertips with like the internet and with like your eyes and like looking at people and talking to people.
Definitely.
and doing
Definitely.
things with your hands, and like you can really inspire people and change your life, you know. So that's what we're here to do, is inspire people, and not to just do what they want. Because I notice one thing is people start to do what they want, and then they think that they can just do what they want. But you have to remember like what we're doing for.
Yeah.
Or like why we're doing what we're doing for. Does that make sense?
For sure.
You know, it's all for other people. Like I wouldn't be here if this was just about me. You know, and like the stuff that I have to say, it's not just my words. Like I say a lot of like things that are universally applicable to life. You know, people can assume it for themselves, and like it's good to make things like that. It's good to make things that are not just for us, and do work that's not just for us, that everybody can take part in and enjoy. So like that's kind of like my theme.
For sure.
Don't mean to ramble on, but
No, you're good. As far as like let's go back to like high school, I guess, since you know, these two cats are from here. Like what high school did you guys go to? Who are some of your favorite teachers? Maybe just to see if like I know any of them, if I had any of them or anything like that.
Yo, crazy. I'll let you talk.
No, go for it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're good.
Because we both went to Independence High School.
Really?
Yeah, well, Gentry went to Independence when it was still Independence down on Lowell Avenue. That's down there by the come and go on 9th Street.
Before they moved in and stuff.
Yeah, and then that's where Gentry went to high school. And then I went to like half my freshman year. My first half of my freshman year, I was still homeschooled, and I was homeschooled from before too. And then halfway through my freshman year, I went to Independence, and I was there for like a few months, and then they changed it to Black Butte High School, and now they're on the college campus.
Yeah.
So that's where I went to school. I went to school for Black Butte. So
How was that? Like
was legit. But Black Butte was super legit. Shout out Miss Coomer. That's the art teacher. She's one of the most significant people in that building.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, graphic art, beautiful graphic artist, beautiful painter and illustrator, and she's just really good at everything that she does when it comes to art. I remember Mr. DeCastro. You remember DeCastro, Gentry?
I remember Mr.
He
D.
was the old psychology teacher. He retired after my freshman year, but shout out that guy. That guy's super significant too. Shout out all the homies. You know what I'm saying? That all the homies that went to Black Butte, y'all know who you are. So
yeah. Let's see. I went to Rock Springs High School. Well, I don't know, kind of. I'd always skip class, and I was like on probation, and like
naughty boy.
I guess. I mean, but yeah, I ended up getting sent away a bunch, and I think it was the second, or after the first time I got sent away, I made up enough credits. Like originally, you had to have enough credits to be submitted or like accepted into Independence. And I barely had any credits, but when I was locked up, they like had all these little packets that you could do at your own time. So I made up like pretty much all my credits, like just within the time I was sent away. And then when I got out, I think it was my sophomore year. It was in between my freshman and sophomore year when I first got out, and I had enough credits to get accepted into Independence. So I started going there, and that was the first time when I had like a real cool school experience. Like growing up, I hated school. I hated waking up, hated the teachers, hated everything about it.
They were all like project-based learning. It was all like project-based learning, and all the teachers are super personable for the most part.
Yeah, Independence was the spot for me. Like just how small it was, everybody was cool with each other. Man, I loved all my teachers. I have a hard time if I feel like I'd miss some right now. Like yeah, Coomer definitely was a big one.
Mm-hmm. Miss Parton. Shout out Miss Parton.
Oh yeah.
Miss Parton was the language arts teacher.
Yeah, Paula Jennings.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
the best.
I remember Paula.
Mrs. Jolly, algebra.
Who was your principal at Independence?
It was Mr. Clark, Tracy Clark.
Right on.
Yeah, I think he retired. That was his last year. I was supposed to graduate in 2010, but I was still kind of a little bit behind. I had a hard time waking up for first period. So like,
Yeah.
I was a little bit behind. They told me I could either like come to after school programs and start going to summer school and just like do a whole bunch of work to try to make up like and graduate on time, or I could come back for 3 class periods for 1 quarter of the next year. And I was like, dude, I'll do that. Like,
Yeah.
why not? So
Bet.
yeah, I ended up graduating class of 2011. But yeah, I loved it the whole time. Like, so glad that I actually got a chance to have a nice, pleasant school experience with Independence.
Yeah, I recommend alternative high schools.
For sure.
You know, if you're looking for alternative opportunities to have an experience with your life in high school and potentially leading out into your life forever,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those are good places to meet people. Like, that'll be your friends forever.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, shoot, my principal, Mr. Maloney, I got honor roll my freshman year. I made the honor roll, and then he hit me up on my cell phone from his cell phone in the summer, like 3 weeks before school started, and he was like, yo, I want you to take some college classes. You made the honor roll. And then I did take a class. Everybody who made the honor roll got to take a college class and get a credit for it. It was like intro to online learning.
Yeah.
So that was super cool. And then homie hit me up. He was like, yo, you're so talented. Like, you need to sign up for these music classes because it's free when you're in high school. So we met at the T-Rex Grill. He bought me some lunch, and we filled out some paperwork. He helped me fill it out, and then I actually took some college classes here for music and got credits for it.
That's dope.
And then I got letters from schools that were like, yo, we'll pay for you to come to our school. And I never did. But the point being, you know, it was really cool experience to be able to come here. That was like 5 years ago at this point. But no, yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago. Pretty crazy. High school is legit. What about you, Caden?
About me,
Yeah, where'd you go?
I just went to Rock Springs High School. I'm trying to think of, like, there was honestly a lot of good teachers at that school.
What were your favorite classes?
Shoot,
That'll help you.
My favorite classes, man, were like always like something artistic, like it was sculpture or
Shout
it
out
was
Miss
like
Coomer again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like sculpture. It was like, I remember like in 8th grade, they had like this music production and like video production class. And I remember like that like really sticking with me as far as like what I wanted to do, or just kind of like, that was like, you know, I was steady sitting with like the USB mic, like making some shitty ass songs. And then I just like got in there and like started like messing around with like the cameras and stuff like that. And I just like,
What's up?
I don't know. I guess I just kind of remember having that like vision, or just kind of like, maybe this is like what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they never really, anyway, going back to like high school and stuff, they never really had anything like that, but it was always just like the sculpture classes and stuff like that.
Still inspiring, though.
Art,
Still
stuff like that.
fun. Still like appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, when I started making music, actually, I won't say when I started making music. I started making music on my mom's laptop, okay? But when I started recording rhymes, like actually recording raps, because I didn't necessarily feel like recording on the shitty Microsoft computer microphone, but I was like recording some audio for an assignment at Black Butte. Was it Black Butte? No. It was at Independence. We were still at the Independence school, but homie was like, "Yo, I know some of you are uncomfortable and you don't really like getting up and talking and doing a presentation and stuff. So if you feel like it, you could just do a voice recording." And I was like, "Oh, bet. I'm totally cool with doing presentations, but I'm lazy, so I'm gonna just hand in this voiceover." And like, I was recording on the Mac, and then I was like, "Yo, my voice sounds really clear." I was like, "It sounds pretty good." I was like, "Yo," and there was a like a video production and like a art production, like a media production room at the school. So I would just like go in there on my lunch and start recording raps and stuff. That was how I started like recording raps. And then it was like, okay, I'm like getting it going now. I'm vibing. Now I just got to start building stuff. So got a new computer, got new microphone, got the audio box. It took time. It took time to get it, but I earned it. And then I got it. So that was where it started, was just the little computer, the little audio box, and the little microphone, man, back at mom and dad's basement, yo, for real. And I'd be on SoundCloud. I had like my select producers that were my favorites, that made my favorite beats and shit, and I would make my own beats sometimes, and just like coming up with like what you were just talking about. This is why I'm talking about this, is like the vision, man. I could just like see it. I could see it. So I just kept fucking moving and kept making shit. And that's how it happens, man. That's how it happens. Or I should say that's how it starts. Because I did that for a long time, just like making songs and making albums and all these ideas. And it's like the show is just for you. Like in the beginning, the show is just for you. Because I would put music out on SoundCloud and that was it. I didn't put it anywhere else, just on SoundCloud. And then I wouldn't do anything. I would just make the music and live my life, and like always making music, always writing raps and stuff, and putting them out on SoundCloud, but never like sharing it, or never like, you know, I didn't really understand like how to communicate or what to do. There was always like this idea of like you have to do something. It's like, well, what do I do? It's like, I'm just gonna make the music and put it online. And then I learned real fast that like nobody will listen to it if you just do that. So it was like, okay, I gotta get on a show. Get on a show. Like there's hip hop shows happening around me. Like all I gotta do is show up and like flex a little, and they'll be like, "Damn, homie's got a muscle. Put it on the spotlight. Everybody look at the muscle." You know, homie can rap. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then with that, that's how I met people. And then you get on more shows, and then you get on more shows.
Yeah,
you meet more people. And then
chain food, or like a food chain.
Yeah. And then I really learned how to start utilizing social media and connect with people on social media, which is it's not as important as in real life, but it's just as significant, because it's like you gotta have your presence online, but if people don't know you in person first, it's like, who the fuck is this guy and why do I care? Like, yeah, that's how it feels for me, anyways. When I see people that I don't know, it's like, it's like, why do I care? But once you meet somebody and you have an experience with them, it's like, okay, this is someone that I can vibe with, or like, you know. So it's real critical to get out there but still have your presence online. That's how you become the tumor. And that's like the whole that's like the idea behind tumors, that like you're a tumor and like I'm tumor and Gentry's tumor. Anybody who's like anybody is tumor, you know, because like we're all just humans. We're all just humans.
Yeah.
We're all just this person who's trying to like do something. And it's like, don't get wrapped up in doing it for yourself. Do it for the world.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that's my word.
As far as like Gentry Fox, kind of like covered like the whole like the like tumor. Now like, what about like Gentry Fox? Like kind of how like was Gentry Fox created, and like like as far as music and stuff.
Yeah. It's a good question. My answer's probably not as eloquent as Toomer.
I don't know, man. We've had some conversations and hung out, man. You got some.
Yeah.
There's plenty to the Gentry Fox story.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, like how it started. It started with like the drunken freestyle raps.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, that's about where I kind of got my feet wet. I mean, I've always been into it. Always wanted to do it. Like hip hop has spoke to me my whole life.
And then you talk about when you moved to Salt Lake too, and then.
Let's talk about that. I want to hear more.
When did you move to Salt Lake?
See.
That was like later in the interview, but we talk about that right now.
We could do it. We could chop it up. Let's see. It was right after I graduated, so in about 2011. I think I moved to Utah in August of 2011, and like just that's where all my family's from originally. Like I was born in St. George, Utah. I lived in Orem till I was about 4 or 5, and then my parents got divorced, and me and my dad moved up here, and the rest of my family, like I got 3 older brothers. They're all married. They got kids. So I've always had like a bunch of family down there, and I'd go down there like as a kid, I'd go spend summer vacations down there and all that. But growing up like here in Wyoming, the only time you wanted to, like once I got my driver's license, and I could finally go travel to see my favorite artists perform, it was usually you had to go to Salt Lake or Colorado. And I remember going to Salt Lake and just seeing all these artists opening for like my all-time favorite heroes, and I didn't even know that like being an opener was a thing at the time. And then I met one guy, shout out to Pat Main. Pat Main kind of he popped my cherry and really introduced me to that whole scene, and he was such a cool dude, and he gave me his demo CD. I brought it back here, spread it to all the homies, and like, it's just awesome seeing like this community of local MCs like just really helping each other out and like getting on all these sweet shows. And I was like, dude, man, someday if I could do something like that in Rock Springs, like that would be amazing. And eventually I started. To make a long story short, I linked up with this kid named Burnell Washburn. Which I
shout out him.
Yeah, shout out to Burnell. He's one of my best friends. He's always been so cool, and like I was a fan of his before we ever really became friends. And I just remember he just like we kind of kicked it off. He had this office down in Sandy at the time with like a bunch of creative cats that all kind of just congregated there. From painters to musicians to poets, all kinds of people. And I lived with those guys for a few months, and they didn't even really know that I made music. I kind of just did a lot of artwork. I was working for a snowboard factory when I first moved down there doing that. Yeah,
that's interesting. I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that your brother's company?
Yeah, my brother. My brothers are all like super big snowboarders. Like, people meet me and they're like, "Oh, you're not a snowboarder? You're a Fox brother and you don't snowboard?" Like all his friends down there. But I did graphic design for all the snowboards. Like, I've done some cool designs for big companies and stuff, and it's kind of where I got started really making money doing the graphic stuff. And then eventually that kind of crossed over into music. Like once I started doing the shows and like kind of meeting people, then I started to get on a bunch of gigs and went on my first tour with Burnell in 2014. And man, I've just been riding that momentum ever since.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I came back here in like 2015 early 2015. I came back here and decided to I don't know, really, it wasn't really intentional when I came back. There's kind of a lot of reasons leading up to it. I always imagined that I would blow up, become super famous, and then move back home and try building things and putting everybody on and doing shows and stuff.
Like I said, if you can think it doesn't go how you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, bro.
But didn't you work on that's when you were really starting to work on rare demo shit?
Yeah, I started.
And you worked on that for like how long?
Let's see, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years. That's when I did the first one, and then the second one I spent like 5 years on, from like 2015 to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good record.
Yeah, the Rare Demo Shit series was originally I had like 3 or 4 records that I was producing, that each had their own vibe and aesthetic, and eventually I was just like, dude, these are taking too long. Like nobody's ever heard of me. Like if I don't put anything out, like nobody's even gonna care. So my idea is just kind of to take one track off of each of those projects and assemble it into like a little compilation, call it Rare Demo Shit, and then it kind of turned into more than that. Like each of those projects, or both of those projects, have like their own kind of storyline to them. Yeah, those are my first projects.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What about like I believe it's called Project Alpha? Is that like the second tape that you dropped that was like with the Rock Springs cover art on it, stuff like that? Yeah.
That was actually a mixtape, like because I was still working on Rare Demo Shit Volume 2, and at this point it'd been like over 4.5 years. Like a lot of bad shit was happening in my personal life for a long time. Like almost died and had a really bad breakup and just all kinds of stuff that was kind of putting me through the ringer. And then once I realized, like, damn, dude, it's almost been 5 years since I've like dropped a project. And I was just kind of in this little box. And then I decided, you know what, for the next year, I'm going to make a goal, like a personal goal for myself. And I didn't tell anyone. I was like, I'm going to release something new every single week for a whole year. And that's where that Project Alpha came from. Is I think that November of 2018, I just started putting a new song out every single week. And then we got about to May. Around in May, I had like a little over 20 tracks or whatever. And I was like, I'm just going to assemble all these into a little mixtape and call it Project Alpha. And then the next one that I do, I'll call it Project Bravo. And then Project Charlie. And then Project Delta. And like, yeah, that was going to be the little mixtape series. And I'm almost done with the Project Bravo. I might drop that within sometime this year.
How much like music do you guys have just sitting on right now? Like, estimate.
Yeah, not as
like
much as
an
I used to.
unholy question.
I got more beats
Seriously.
than anything.
Oh,
I
yes.
Really?
I got
Man,
thousands.
I got like
thousands of
project
beats.
files where you'll just open it up and it's just like a stupid ass
Yeah, just like
loop.
some shit,
Yeah,
bro.
it's just like a stupid like loop of like, it's like every layer in the beat, but it's just like not organized and like mixed or constructed in the playlist or anything. It's just like that 8-bar loop. And it's like,
Just
why
an
is
idea.
this just sitting here?
Yeah.
I have so many of those. Man, if I could put a number on it, because I have a few different versions of FL Studio. I have 3 different versions. I have FL10, I have FL12, and I have FL20. Between all 3 of those in the past 5 years that I've been making hip hop, and yeah, it's not including beats that I've gathered that I've like made concepts for songs to and never and haven't written them or never did or whatever, but I got probably at least over 300
Hey,
over 300 tracks just chilling.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and there's always new ones coming all the time too.
Yeah.
So some of them get used, some of them don't. That's what's really important too, is just like making music whether anybody hears it or not. Just like making music so that you can get in that space and have a good time with it and like focus on like making the best sound that you can so that you can grow as you're trying to do that. You know, and every time you do that, it's like you go back to it and you see where you could improve. So on the next one you do better, and it's just like you're constantly feeding yourself in that way. So
I was just gonna say, like, just like from personal experience, but I'm sure you guys can relate to this too. It's just like crazy when you like make a whole like shit ton of songs and then like you like look back on that catalog of songs that you have and like there's just like so many flows, so many like messages. It's like bits and pieces of you. Like that's how I write music, at least. It's just kind of like
I'm the same way. It's like the
giving it,
soundtrack
like,
to your life.
yeah, just
man.
like a little puzzle piece of like
Yes.
one track and like just like encompassing everything. Like when you look at an artist, like I want people to like look at all these pieces and like put them together type of thing. But like it's just like crazy. Like, you know, you'll be writing a song and then like you'll come up with the old flow. You're like, damn, this song's like this song, and then you're like, I don't know, like there's all kinds of crazy shit. But
it's like
it's really cool to like make music though. It's just
agree.
it's a great
it's a great
stress
creative-
reliever.
It's a great creative outlet.
It's
a very great creative outlet, you know, and it's creative. You can make it whatever you want. You know, you can find out how you want to say and figure out your way of saying it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's through instrumentation or through vocals, or through just like writing and composing, like directing. Like there's so many ways to express yourself making music. So it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. But I will give this piece of advice out too, is to always just let it be something fun. Always remember why you're doing it, and don't get lost in the because I've gotten lost in the like, oh, I have to do this, and it becomes like work.
Yeah, putting yourself in a box.
Yeah, don't ever put yourself in a box. Always let yourself just be free with the way that you create and the way that you move. You know, because if you start telling yourself that you have to do things, I have to do this, I have to do this, and it becomes like work, and then it becomes less fun. And then it's like, yo, I could do whatever the fuck I want. So I'm going to just keep doing that, and always just let it be like that. That's my advice on making music.
And then kind of going back to like you too, like how, or like you guys both, how did like the whole sub rock like thing get created, and like when did Tumor join, and like when did all these guys like join and stuff? Like who's a part of sub rock? Like
Sub Rock was
kind of just give me like the rundown.
Sub Rock was created by Gentry Fox, established in 2013, but I don't know when he actually came up with it. It had to have been 2013.
Yeah, that's when I made it official, like, and created all the branding and all that stuff. And like,
Is that when you came up with the name?
it might have been, yeah, because I tried for so long to come up with like a cool, catchy name, and I could never do it. And then I think my mind just kept going back to Sub Rock. It was originally like a pseudo acronym for Rocky Mountain Subculture, and I was like,
Really?
yeah, and I just, my mind kept going back to that. Like I had all these ideas, but that was the one that just kept, shouting at me. And I was like, I wasn't necessarily such a huge fan of it, but I was like, all right, well, if that one keeps speaking to me, then I'm just going to run with it.
It just, the name itself sounds like the underground hip hop scene in
Yeah.
Rock Springs.
See, and the thing when I first heard like just kind of like first digesting like sub rock, I kind of thought it was just like rock bottom, like sub rock.
Right.
And then like I kind of hear like when you kind of like listen to Gentry Fox, like his new album of The View from Nowhere. Am I saying that right? The View from Nowhere. He kind of like talks about like the view, like I mean, I even like the tape title, like The View from Nowhere. Like,
right. It's very.
that's kind of what I like. But that's
we're
interesting to hear, like where they actually, like what it actually means. But
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, for the longest time it was just me. I mean, I took a lot of inspiration from like Rhymesayers Entertainment, and just like
Shout out
Rhymesayers.
Rhymesayers. Go check out Rhymesayers.
Yeah, Rhymesayers, Fake 4. There's so many Q and 5, like all these little independent labels with like these small little rosters of artists that they all kind of
All
put each other on.
independent Gs. Yeah.
You discover one, and then you just go down a rabbit hole with everybody that they featured and everybody they're associated with, and it's like you just find so many awesome artists that
that
like.
shit's so fun. I love going like through rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yes, man. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted for Sub Rock eventually. I mean, it was hard to, for a while, I mean, I guess I was maybe just too focused on myself to like really, give it the nourishment and nurture it the way it deserved. But yeah, Tumor came along the last few years and has really been helping me, build it up.
The first time I came to your house when you lived on Ludwig
Oh yeah.
was I came over, and I think I was with Dylan,
Yeah.
and I came to your house and I started making a beat on Studio One because I never used Studio One, and I was like, what is this? I got to start playing with it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and you still have that beat. That's that piano beat that.
Yeah. I think I was gonna put that on my Tumor EP.
Yeah.
'Cause I got a whole album produced by Tumor. Like, I still gotta finish it, but it's so
fire.
good.
Yeah. But
Pretty excited to hear that for sure.
Yeah.
so that was like that was 2015. That was when I started rapping. But we were never like really like too close. Like we knew that we existed, and it's kind of the same story like with him and Burnell Washburn. Like I was always a fan of Gentry, and like I listened to your first CD and shit, and yeah, we were connected through our homie Dylan Hadley. Shout out Dylan Hadley. We love you, dog.
Yeah,
You the
shout out
man.
Dylan.
Shout out Dylan.
Yeah. And then later on in the years, we started connecting through shows.
I love this song, bro.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, we started connecting through shows. That was when we really started connecting and seeing each other more. And we always knew who we were. We always knew each other and stuff, but it wasn't until we started performing together.
Yeah.
So, and we're always drawn to each other by our sounds and by our ideas and stuff. And then, like he said, in the past few years is really when we started working together, helping each other shoot music videos, just kicking it, making stuff together, vibing. We just vibe a lot. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was trying to think of the first moments where we like really started hitting it off, and I couldn't really figure out the
I can't put a thumb on it.
The catalyst. It might have been when
Can't
we
put a
went
tick
up
on it.
north to
Is when-
Gillette, or not Gillette, Cody, Wyoming.
No, I'd say it was before then. Before then,
Actually,
we
you're
were
right.
hitting it off more for like a
Yeah.
couple years.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, just connecting through the music.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, like, or I just kind of want to ask you about this, but like it kind of seems like when you like look at all the cats that like rap and stuff in Rock Springs, like there's like the 387, and then there's like Sub Rock, so it's like you guys, and then like there's a couple other guys, you know, there's names are slipping my mind at the moment, but like
There's a bunch of local cats.
yeah.
Shout out Navarre Mud, who's a local OG legend right there. Shout out Tone, the Melodic Monster. Shout out Ricky.
Annie to God.
Yeah. Will, that's
Yes,
Will.
sir. Will.
Yeah.
Will LaFleur.
Yeah. Who else is OG that I want to shout out? YT. Want to shout out YT. That's the man right there. He puts in a lot of work.
He does.
Shout out James Gregg. He's a good local homie. Shout out Jay Crook. Shout out Callie Fox. Shout out David Rossi. You know, those are tons of local people who have been involved in the local hip hop scene, all the real ground root stuff, all the real shows where Gentry and I came up. So, gotta shout
Navarre,
them guys up.
Yeah, Navarre put me on my very first show out here.
Same. Oh, shout out
Navarre's put on a lot of people.
Shannon Archuleta, Omnis,
Omnis.
and J-Pun.
J-Pun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are our homies too. That a lot of the Rock Springs dude came up off of like the Battle Axe Warriors, man. That's some crazy legit underground hip hop stuff.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more of that. Like,
Man, they branched out in like Utah, Wyoming. They're in.
I think it's Mad Child from Swollen Members, or he's a Canadian.
Yeah, he's
Canadian
pretty poppin'.
rapper. It's kind of his little umbrella.
So yeah, that just answering your question about like dudes from around here and stuff. Like those are yeah. One love to all the homies. So.
hey, yeah, I should have just asked you like who I don't like, cause I I don't really know like a whole lot, but what I was like gonna say is like I've noticed like, you know, like you've worked with like, you know, Young C, I see. I mean, you kind of have like a little bit of connection with everybody as far as like a little bit of connection with 387, a little bit of kind of just like you've been around, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I really started connecting with the 387 cats through Cayman. Everybody found out about me through Cayman, through Young C, because Young C was homies with my brother, and they like fought each other and shit, and like they were just stupid kids who went to school together. And I remember like Cayman would come over and stuff sometimes, like in the later years when I was like doing hip hop and stuff. He would come over sometimes for explicit reasons, and
For explicit reasons.
yeah, everybody.
What, like sex?
No, everybody always. My brother liked to party, yo. My brother was a little freak, and I love him to death. But did he like to party when we were younger? And yeah, everybody thought that he was cool and always wanted to hang out with Mikey. So like,
Yeah.
of course he's like around the popular crowds and stuff. And Cayman and him already knew each other and stuff. So, word got out that I was like actually making beats and stuff and recording, and then I'd show them and they'd be like, "What?" And I'd be like, and yeah, I remember telling Cayman, "Yo, we gotta make some music, bro. We gotta make me."
Yeah.
And then they'd come over, they'd hit me up, "Yo, I got this track. We gotta make this song." And we download beats, and first song I ever did with Cayman was a Panda remix. You know that Panda song? Does that ring a bell? From like 4 years ago.
I remember like honestly the only thing I remember seeing from you and Young C was I think you like produced one of his songs one time or something like that, or like I can't even remember. I just remember that connection with like Young C and stuff.
The first song that I did for them that they like did a music video to and like put out, it was Young C and Gibbo, Jalen Gibson.
Yeah.
Shout out Jalen. They did this song called Big Faces. I think it's still on YouTube. Yeah, that was the first song that I ever did with those cats. That's how I really got involved with the 387 cats. Was
Yeah.
Came. So,
Shout out them, man.
As far as like other people though, like other groups of people, I can't really put a label or box on any of like these groups of people because I feel like because of me I take that away. You know what I mean? It's hard to like say other than like the fact that we're Sub Rock and like 387. Those are like the only two like real like groups
Yeah.
that I could categorize at Rock Springs, and
Uh-huh.
everything else is just like so freeing.
Yeah.
It's so free, and everyone's very open and accepting of everybody else.
For sure.
So it's really cool.
Shoot, I'm trying to think what I was gonna ask you. Have you sorry, have you talked to like any of the guys at 387 like since, or like?
Made some songs with Knees a couple years
Hey.
back. Yeah, shout out
Shout out
Noah
Knees.
Spence. Yeah, shout out EME. Yeah, those were the last songs I did with any of the 387 cast. Was the stuff that I made with Noah a couple years back, and I've actually made a couple songs with Cayman since then. And that's about it.
Where?
That's about it. Sometimes they hit me up and then homies can't come through, and it's not anybody's fault. Life happens.
Yeah.
So I get that. But yo, hit me up, y'all. I'm always down. So
What about you, Gentry? Like anybody else you working with? I see you, Burnell, Fierce,
Oh man.
Doomer.
Yeah, I've always been kind of a lone wolf for the longest time. Like I just barely started featuring people for the first time. Like I've always like had love and respect for everybody. Like I think there was a misconception for a long time that I didn't like want to work with anyone, or like I was just in my own bubble, or I thought I was too good for anyone. Like, and that's not the case at all. I was just felt like I kind of did my best work when I was alone, but now I've started to really branch out. And I've performed with, so many amazing, talented cats here. And like Navarre put me on my very first show back in like 2014, and I was still living in Utah. And like eventually what I want to do is just, collab with all the homies, at least have one track with everybody. But yeah, as far as the moment, I only got tracks with Tumors on my album, Fierce, Burnell.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I got a couple still in the pipe. I don't know if I should
Name drop
A
songs
name
that
drop.
aren't out.
Yeah, maybe. I got a few tracks with some Denver cats. Like,
Yeah.
I started breaking into that market like in mid 2019. There's so many cool, talented dudes down there. I'm gonna try to get them on some stuff. And then in Utah, there's like still all those artists that I looked up to back when I was a kid that I still definitely want to get on a track, like Dumb Luck, Phil Maggio, Task Rock, Malev the Shinobi.
Yeah. If you don't know Malev the Shinobi, go onto Google
Yeah.
and like find his SoundCloud and find his stuff on YouTube. Malev the Shinobi.
Yeah,
Good
Malev
stuff.
is awesome. He's got
12 out of 10 recommend.
such a cool style. Like,
Yes.
yeah, his style is unparalleled. Like, he's got that old like kind of New York boom bap stuff. Like all his stuff is super heavy old school boom bap, like as far as the sonics, but his like voice is kind of like a
Funky and low. And
kind of a reggae type of vibe. I don't know. It's hard to really put him in a box, but I feel like a lot of those artists down there are all kind of like that. They all have such like a unique style that's like, they stand on their own. I'd love to definitely make some music with those guys. Yeah, I'm always down to collab and work with people. Anybody ever wants me on a track, just send it my way with an open verse, and we'll see what we can do.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I was gonna ask you about what's that one song with Willow Fleur and like some other guy like got like it's crazy views. It's like 212,000.
Prophet?
Yeah. What's the story with that song?
We put that song out on the I the Prophet SoundCloud, and I think they submitted it to a couple playlists and stuff. Yeah, the rest is history, man. That song is its own entity, man. I don't know what to say about all that, bro.
Yeah, that shit kind
to
of
be
like
honest.
Shit kind of blew up a little bit. Huh?
It did for a while there. I don't know if it's still. I think view counts are still going up a little bit on it, but that's on SoundCloud. It's song is called Bird's Eye View.
Yeah.
Bird's Eye View, and it's like a green background with like this hot devil chick on it, and yeah, it's called Bird's Eye View, and I don't know if he changed the name so it says Can I the God, but it was Escape Reality. That's what Will was calling himself. He's called himself a few different things.
Yeah, I was gonna
years.
say
He's
this
always
man's got a lot of
He's always changing it. That dude's
Lot of
finding
names, yeah.
himself. It's really cool to see. And then I the Prophet, which is the homie Tommy. Shout out Thomas Trujillo. I the Prophet. Go check out his SoundCloud. It's super dope. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. It's fire track, man. That's why that shit blew up.
Yeah.
If you go listen to it, man, that beat knocks and their verses pop and the production is flame. That's all I can really say. You know, they put it on their shit and they did their thing with it. So yeah. I really wish to collab with more producers and stuff that are like producers that I listen to. And I learned that you just got to reach out, you know, and you don't got to think too much about it. You don't got to think like, okay, what do I got to say? I got to say this, and I got to introduce myself, and I got to blah, 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 blah. You just got to message them and be like, yo, I really like your sounds. Like, let me get an exclusive beat or something, you know? You just got to make that connection.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, is to not be afraid to ask for what
Yeah.
you want, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we put these artists or these producers on such a pedestal where it seems like it's like hard to get in touch with them, or maybe we're not worthy enough, or whatever these ideas are. Like, and it doesn't even have to be with music, it's just anything, like even shows or opportunities, you know? You just reach out and ask. Like, it never hurts. Like, you know, there's so many opportunities that I've had in my career that I asked to be a part of. And had I not asked, like, I couldn't even imagine. Like,
Yeah, exactly, man. So,
no.
Word. So we're kind of winding down time, but I wanted to ask you guys a couple more questions. First, how did you guys come up with like your cadences, like when you rap? Like, I know Gentry has a very specific like style. Toomer has a very specific style. Gentry's kind of Gentry's kind of like very quick and like, you know, synonyms and like rhyming and like, you know, or not synonyms, but like, what's like is that idioms or whatever? They're like
multisyllabics,
something like that.
Yeah.
Just like kind of like that kind of style. And then Toomer's, you know, he's got like his rap shit, but he also has his singy shit. Kind of how like were those styles created?
you want to go first?
Sure. I'm not too sure. That's a good question. I guess like even before like I even rapped, I always heard it in my head. Like I could hear that artist in my head, and I'm like, dude, that artist is so good. I wish that I could like translate that and make him real. Like I'd hear it in my head when I'd make these beats, and I'd try to like write verses, you know, and it almost never come out like the way that I heard it in my head. And then eventually it kind of clicked, and then it started to happen, and I was like, I could hear that artist in my head now actually on the track. And so it was never anything I was like really conscious of, or never really like set out to create a certain sound. And yeah, I've always been attracted to like, you know, the boom bap rap, I can rap better than you type of like braggadocio style, you know, where it's like just rapping to rap, you know, like I've always been a fan of that. And I try to do a little bit of that, but also like I like making songs with substance, and like, you know, I like telling stories. And so I've always tried to find a balance between, you know, just rapping for the sake of rapping, and then also rapping to tell a story or like, you know, a message. That's about it.
I'm different. I always, like I said, when I started rapping, it was like very inspired by like life and real experiences, and like I always rapped about like real stuff that was happening in my life. So like I was always like inspired, and I thought rap was fun and stuff, but when it came to like what I was writing about, I always like knew like I'm always like kind of like shining a light on something, you know, maybe like an exit. Shining the light on the exit, man, without making anybody do anything or telling anybody like this is the way. But as far as like flows and cadences and stuff, man, I'm the same way, dude. I hear it all in my head first. Sometimes it's not the whole song. Sometimes it is like a whole song where I'll know what I want to say. Yeah, as far as like flow patterns and stuff, you'll notice it in like certain songs. I have like such an odd flow. It's like odd. It's like the timing is there, but it's not like what you're expecting, or the timing isn't what you're expecting, but it's like it all fits. So I don't know. I try to come up with stuff like that that's like different because it's exciting and it works. So
I see. I want to ask Gentry about how do you like film some of those music videos, bro? Because like this man like is damn good with a camera. I don't know what he's doing, but
steady hands, keep your elbows in.
Yeah.
That's what he's always telling me when we're out recording. I'm like, oh, I can't hold it high enough.
Yeah.
I'm
so that there's like some certain like shit that goes into
technique.
I don't know. Maybe I am kind of a tyrant when it comes to directing. I'm not sure.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
I don't know. It's like, well, first that was my first, like, I guess maybe not my first love. Well, maybe, I don't know. It was making movies and stuff. Like I created my very own website when I was back in 2004, like before YouTube and all that. Like
#Gentry's World.
Gentry's World, yep. And like I just create like dumb like jackass type of skits with my buddies and like just put them on. Like, you know, some would have stories, most of them wouldn't. Like just random stuff, messing with people while they're asleep and just dumb stuff like that. So like I always had a knack for, you know, trying to do the filmmaking stuff, and that was originally my goal. Like when I got out of high school, is I was going to go to film school and, you know, become a director and do all that. And then, but music was like my big passion that pulled me in like the most. And so I eventually like, I was like, all right, well, maybe I could combine those two worlds. I'll just start directing my own music videos. And, you know, it took a while before I like, you know, I got all my equipment squared away. You know, and I was trying to learn how to work it all. So it took a few years before I was able to drop my first video. Like I think I dropped my first one in 2018. Yeah, it was hard to find like a homie that could hold the camera for me, you know, and like, yeah, trying to direct it while you're in front of the camera is like a whole nother challenge. So, but I mean, I love it, dude. I have so much fun. It's like, yeah, directing videos, like whether for myself or others, like and editing it, dude. I've always just have so much fun with that.
And I've seen like a lot of the process. You know, I don't get to see all of the editing process, but I have seen quite a bit of that. Yeah, it's just like quality equipment. You gotta invest in quality equipment and invest in quality studio. It is an investment, you know. Yeah. It will come back to you. You know, make your start and get into it, but you know, just keep building. That's kind of like the I don't know, the formula, if you will. That's like our trick.
Yeah.
To keep building, keep trying new things. And keep adding onto the list of tools to utilize. Yeah.
I guess like kind of talking about just like filming and stuff. You just got back from Hawaii, wasn't it? And you guys were shooting a music video down there.
Yeah, shot a few of them.
Yeah.
I got a couple for the homies. Burnell, I shot one for him, and his friend, it's another artist out of Salt Lake, T00M3R. Shot a few stuff for him. And
shout out T00M3R.
Yeah, in return, I was like, all right, I'll shoot stuff for you guys if you help shoot some stuff for me. And
what's the name of that song for that video he did?
Which one?
That poppin' one that he put out recently.
Not sure.
Dude.
But yeah, I mean, I had them.
No, you're good.
Had them shoot some stuff for me, and yeah, I mean, some of it turned out, some of it didn't. It's always kind of hard, like directing a video while you're in front of it, and then there's circumstances of like, you know, just making sure all the equipment's charged and the lighting's right, and like nothing really ever goes according to plan. But I think we got some cool stuff that's usable, and I got this track I'm working on right now, and you might see it within the next few weeks.
I've seen some of the footage. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Why was off the chain.
Yes. The song is called Most High.
Oh, Most High by T00M3R, yeah.
T00M3R, Most High. That song is so
dope.
Flame. The visual to it is crazy. You gotta go check it out. I'll send it to you.
Bet. Send it over.
Yeah.
Shoot. I'm trying to think. I'd say probably my favorite Gentry Fox music video is probably the one like I'm trying to think of like I can't remember what the song was, but it was that one when I think you filmed it by yourself, but in that old cabin place or whatever that was. It was like it's off like I want to say it's like on your way to. Oh shoot! There's like a rundown gas station. It was like in it, and like that little like that shit was fire. I see that place. Like I remember coming back there like all the time during like sporting events and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like not sporting events, like high school sport trips, and like driving back and like seeing that shit.
Yeah.
And then like I watched this video. I'm like, wait, I know where the hell that is. Like this man's just like hella creative. Like with where the hell like he films his shit.
Yeah,
he definitely is. Me and Gentry have been on some crazy journeys.
Yeah, for real. I love every video to kind of have its own little aesthetic and feel to it. And so like I'm always in my mind, like I drive a lot and do a lot of trips. So I'll always like, you know, I've driven by that gas station a million times and I'm like, dude, I can't wait to do a video there. Like, so I just like take mental notes of all these spots and eventually like, you know, I go back and hit them. And I was glad I was able to get that one.
It's like being a skateboarder, dude.
Pretty much.
Go destroy the set and dip.
Last couple questions. So what are like what are you guys' favorite projects that you guys have dropped?
Man.
Favorite song, favorite project or projects or
my first 3 projects, you know, a lot of super lyrical flame. You could definitely hear the progression in the production. But one of my favorite projects that I did was Select Sundays, which is on SoundCloud and it's on YouTube.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Select Sundays is crazy. I put out a song every Sunday for 30 weeks, from like August of 2017 to March of 2018, and there's a lot of significant tracks on there. Like what you were talking about earlier, dude, like the soundtrack to your life shit, and like how you go back and you reflect on your catalogs and you see the vibes, and like there's just so many vibes in that playlist, and there's so many good songs. So I highly recommend that. And then Life Is Yours was a really dope project, but I think The Lost Children of the Trap really hit the nail on the head with the hammer, man.
That's I honestly
my favorite song is Knowing. That's my favorite song off of there. What were you gonna say?
I was just to say, I just remember when those projects dropped. I specifically remember when you dropped, what's the one with the you just said it, the
Lost Children of the Trap.
No, the other one.
Oh, Life Is Yours.
Yeah, Life Is Yours. Mystery. That song's fire.
Yes.
I remember when that project dropped, and I remember peeping it, and I was rocking with that project. Children of the Trap though. That's not that project's dope.
Dude, that project was deep, man. That was like Life Was Yours was really cool. I was like coming out of like a relationship that I had been in for a long time in high school, and we grew up together kinda, and it didn't work out. And then like I was really depressed for a long time, and then like Life Is Yours was like me trying to come out of that and like be myself again. And then Lost Children of the Trap was like kind of an expression of like this time of when I was really depressed. I was like really depressed, man, and like it was like who I was, you know, as far as like the tumor theme, but it was just like I was in such a low point, and that was like kind of me like reaching out and like really like if I had to go, this is what I have to offer right now type shit. So yeah, super significant. But my favorite song that I've ever made is called None Is One, and it's just a single. And if you have one of the original copies of the Life Is Yours CDs, if you skip like 15 minutes after the last track, that song is on there. I put it on there as like a hidden track on my CD. I always put hidden tracks on my CDs.
Hey, that's cool. So just be like listening through, and you're like, "What?" This
yeah. Well, the album ends, and you're like, "Why ain't the album restarting?"
Yeah,
it's been going on for like 10 minutes. What the hell's happening? Then
fire.
You hear a song, and it's like, "Oh, what?" Yeah, but it's None Is One. Whenever like I introduce anybody to my music, or like show them my music for the first time, or like somebody's like, "Yo, send me a link," or like I'll see a post, and it'll be like, "Yo, drop a song," like. That's always the first song that I put out, because like the intro quote is like Mac Miller, so
Oh, yeah.
It instantly like resonates with people, and the music is very beautiful in that song. It really put my heart out on the music and the production in that song. So,
what about you, Gentry? Like,
Man, that's a good question. I've always been like super self-critical, so I feel like I love everything maybe for a couple months after I put it out, and then after that I go back. I'm like, oh, dude, that's trash. You should have used this word or change the mix. Bring your vocals up a little bit more. Like,
start getting real analytical and
yeah.
critical.
So it's like hard for me to go back and enjoy a lot of my stuff in retrospect. But I mean, I was pretty proud with a lot of that Project Alpha stuff. Just like Tumor said, when you're releasing stuff every week, like, it's finally in the moment. Like, I love being able to have that music that represents that moment in time. Like, I feel like my second album, I kind of missed that because I worked on it for like 5 years. So it's just like, there's no real memories associated with a lot of those tracks.
But it is an articulated piece of art, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole thing is like,
so it's a little different.
Yeah, the whole thing. I'm really proud of that project for like the cohesion, the Rare Demo Shit Volume 2. Like, I think the story turned out exactly the way I wanted it to. Maybe the execution of it was a little could have been done a little differently or better or whatever. I think I overthought a lot of that album. But
if you could pick like a favorite song though, like one of your favorite songs, like right now, not like from before, but like right now, one of your favorite songs.
Well, I'm still kind of vibing with The View from Nowhere. It's a lot different than what I'm used to putting out. That whole album, I just wanted to put out like chill stuff. I didn't want to. That album, I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna try to impress anybody. I'm not gonna make any rippity rap tracks. Like,
yeah,
I was just trying to speak from the soul. And so there's a few ones on there that I really vibe with. Like that Viewfinder track, that Made track near the end. It's pretty nice, but
I like Hindsight.
Yeah,
Hindsight's
Hindsight's
a good
cool.
track.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite. They're all my little babies. But
yeah.
One of my favorites, not just because I shot the video to it, but one of my favorite. It might be though. It might be because I've heard that song so much. And
Epilogue?
Epilogue.
Yeah.
A song called Epilogue is such a beautiful track. I mean, I listened to that track on repeat for quite a few weeks in 2019 and in 2020 throughout different periods, just because there's a lot of good words in there, man. So
I'm glad. Yeah, I remember making the beat to that, and I was like on one of the worst days of my life. Like, it's funny.
You can tell there's a lot of soul in that beat.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd have to say my favorite Gentry Fox song is probably "Lovesick," "Dope," or what's the one? It's like AXA something on Rare Shit One.
Doxography.
Yeah,
Yes.
that shit's fire.
Thanks, man.
Good track.
My favorite Tumor songs are "Miss Jane," "Children in the Trap." All those songs are fire as hell. I really enjoyed that little EP. Shoot, let me pull up the catalog, right? I just want to give you I want to give you a real answer because I'm just like trying to think of shit off the top of my head, and I just like
there's a lot there. There's a lot there to look at.
I'm peeping my Tumor playlist right now.
Yeah, I got a lot of Tumor favorites. I don't even know if I can name them off the top of my head, especially since a lot of them are on this album.
You know what's a really popular one is
My Word is Spoken.
Yes,
that shit's
that's
fire.
so funny. Yeah,
That shit's
I thought
fire.
and he said it.
That shit's so fire,
I
bro.
didn't even have to say it, man.
And then Face It is fire.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed that one.
Yes, just face.
Young Socrates, like the first one, like just the album, like or like the tape. Isn't it called Young Socrates?
Yeah. Actually, Young Socrates, I introduced the concept of Young Socrates on my second album, and I made the first Young Socrates song. That second album was called Subliminally Present. And then, because I was on that tumor shit, like what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We're just all an idea and one consciousness, you know? So, but it was like, Young Socrates was an actual expression of like Steven. It was a way for me to like incorporate myself into it. So then I introduced that concept on the second album, and that's when I was really inspired to make the Young Socrates tape. And then I made Young Socrates 2 and put it on that, and then Young Socrates 3 is the last song on Select Sundays.
Yeah, I just really thought the Young Socrates, like, you can tell it's a little bit like it's a little age Tumor, you know, it's a little younger.
Yeah.
But like you can see like the potential, and like you can see like where you're going with those, like where you were trying to go with those songs, and like those songs are Those songs are great.
Thanks, man.
I'd say the only thing that just kind of like is different for me is just your voice. Your voice, you can tell you're just young.
Yeah,
on
definitely.
that project.
Definitely. My Word is Spoken is actually on that
Yeah.
album. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I wonder what your voice is gonna sound like when you're around my age too. In like 10 years, after all the shows and yelling that
And the
you've been doing,
blunts.
it's gonna be
Voice
all
box
raspy
on.
and-
Gentry, go get me another pack of backwoods from the freezer. And a chocolate bar. Chocolate. I remember when they first invented chocolate. I hated it.
But shoot, I'm trying to think. Anything else?
I really appreciate that, man. I've never really gotten props like that on that album, man. And the fact that you said those words particularly about like how you could see like the potential and where I was going with the songs. Like you could tell it's not all there yet.
Does your nose start bleeding?
Tumor admit.
Going too hard.
He's going too hard on the mic, bro.
Whoops. Shove a plastic bag into your nose to stop the bleeding.
That's what I'm doing right now. I just started getting a nosebleed out of nowhere.
That's weird, bro. I've never.
I do it. That shit happens to me sometimes too. I think it's just dry environment and shit.
That's usually what it is.
I feel like I've
drinking this
never
water
had a
bottle and I
nosebleed.
haven't drank any water at all
But-
today, so I'm probably just dry.
As far as like anything else, like I didn't have like as much time as I wanted. I would have liked to like get the interview together and all that, but I think like we covered like a lot of great things. I really appreciate you
it,
guys'
man.
like energy coming in here.
Yeah, thank
I
you for
thought
having
it
us.
It was a great interview.
Thank
Um,
you, Rock
Rock's fun
Springs,
with
for
it, for
tuning
sure.
in. Thank you, Rock Springs and Green River.
Yeah.
You people out there,
Mhm.
what makes this all possible. So,
Second time hanging out with Gentry, first time meeting Tumor.
yeah, it was an honor to
So
meet you finally,
it was really
man.
cool, like to
Yeah,
meet you
man.
guys and just like I was saying, go back to what I was saying, bro. So I found out about Tumor through my brother, just cause he, my brother,
No, who's
Hunter Hansen.
What?
Yeah, that's my brother.
No way.
Yeah.
What? Oh my God, that's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
I was like telling him about. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get Tumor and Gentry Fox in the studio. He's like, hey, that's cool. Like, Tumor's a really cool guy. Like, so he fucks with you. So
That's
but
what's
that's
up.
how I
I
found out about
appreciate
you.
that.
Just like
Yeah,
hearing
I-
about you from my brother, and then
That's crazy.
I want to say just like Gentry Fox just through Tumor and Sub Rock and kind of just like I've been watching you guys for a minute though. So
I appreciate
Yeah.
it, man.
Really appreciate all your
Yeah.
love and support, man.
You
And
can
having
put
us on here, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a great time.
But yeah, it's I don't know exactly, like I don't have a for sure name for it yet, but I'm kind of thinking like Cowboy Craft, but it's like it's gonna be like a series of guys, and I just want to get like all people from Wyoming, like some of you guys, like you guys would mention, like just like pretty much like just people that I see potential in, and like that I rock with their music, and just like get them in here, like just something new, and just like starting some stuff. And you guys are the first episode.
Yeah,
So-
dude.
appreciate it. Yeah,
But
definitely.
sorry, I'm rambling. You probably
No,
probably
you're
ready to
good, man.
go to bed or whatever. But I
No,
was
that's
just gonna
cool.
say,
I wish we could stay here longer and talk
Yeah.
more. And
yeah,
Yeah,
play
man. Do
songs
it for
and
hours.
shit, so.
Shoot, sorry. I was just gonna say that just from like peeping your guys' content and stuff, like I think everybody is just so like opinionated, and like if you're not like the baby, or you're not like you don't have somebody that like I like just really encourage people to like delve into like the local scene and stuff, because there's just like so much talent. And like the thing, like I honestly, like I don't know about you guys, but like I hate mainstream music. I don't
listen to anything mainstream, yo.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Don't.
I think it sounds like shit.
My main inspiration right now is rock music. I've been listening to a lot of Deftones and Tool, anything Maynard,
Uh-huh.
Tool, A Perfect Circle, Pussifer, what else? Yeah, I'd be listening to like Pink Floyd and like old rock music and stuff. And then when I'm in the car, I actually jam 88.5, which is the classical
the radio,
station. Classical station, and they do little NPR bits and stuff. So, I don't really listen to like mainstream rap. I used to be into like the pro era stuff and like Joey Badass and the Capital Steez,
yes, sir.
and
Yeah.
actually that all started with Underachievers, and those were the
Yeah.
guys who really like that was when the psychedelics were around in my life, and that music was playing, and like
Flatbush.
those dudes really inspired me to start rapping. Yeah, Flatbush Zombies and Underachievers. Only like they were my first concerts that I actually like went to myself. So, yeah. Shit.
But I was just like saying that, you know, like for me personally, like I hate mainstream music.
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always like delving into like the underground stuff. And so it's cool to like, it's just like cool to me, you know, because like I've got the same feeling that I get from like a lot of other guys, you know, like while listening to your guys' music, like you like when you really like a song, you just get this like feeling of like, you know how it be, but like just like
It's like
knowing that.
resonating.
But it's crazy like listening to some of your guys' songs and like really liking some of that music, and then just be like, this guy lives down the street from me. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's a very I think that makes it even cooler to like want to listen to you guys' music, like knowing that you guys are real people, like physically, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
sometimes
we're
the
like-
shit just feels fake.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
like
for real.
genuine and down to earth too. Like the way that I like to word it is like we don't like to look up to anybody as much as we do look up to some people, you know, because you'll have that. But we don't like to look up to people, and we don't like to look down at people, and we don't like people to look up to us or look down on anybody else. We like to just meet everybody at eye level because we're all just humans.
Yeah.
You know? We're all just Toomer. We're all just Gentry Fox. We're all just Cade, fucking K Dot, the Bro Show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're all just trying to. So yeah, it is very eye opening. It's very eye opening to see like this is real and this is like how it works. Like you don't have to have all these concepts and ideas about how stuff works. You just got to observe and act.
Yeah. But it's just kind of like, I feel like just a lot of people are just like praising this like Instagram fame, and like they're just all about the culture and like getting involved and stuff, and like, you know,
Everybody
just like
want to tell a story on the gram but don't know their own.
that too. But just kind of like you're worshiping somebody that you've never, or like, you know, you're listening to somebody that you've never seen in your life. You never contacted them, and you've only seen them on a cereal box in the store. I mean, you know, like it's just like,
Screens create a lot of separation, and there is like this main platform, and it's Hollywood. It's the whole idea of Hollywood, and you know there's a whole agenda to it, and people like money, and people like to be rich, and people like it when other people look up at them. Like you know, it's you know, that's how the whole system is like designed nowadays. That's what they want you to be. So that's why we keep it OG. That's why we keep it underground. That's why we come on the local radio. That's why we meet homies like K-Dot. That's why we meet homies like you out there who are listening, you know, because I know our homies are out there listening. So, you know, keep it real.
Real recognize real.
Real
Yes,
recognize
for
real.
sure, for sure.
You know?
But yeah, we'll probably just go ahead and end it. We're a little over time, but I just wanted to say, just talking, you know, meeting Gentry Fox, going to Sub Rock, hanging out with him, having Toomer in the studio. I can say that, you know, these guys are just like really genuine, you know, just through the DMs, and they're just like hella cool guys. Just go stream their music, and
Thanks,
you know, if you guys see them around town, say what's up.
Yeah.
Might
just give you a free sticker or something.
Yeah.
You know?
go buy some merch.
You know, I keep that
and
thing on me. Yeah,
Just
nothing's perfect.
Go support some local guys, for real, for real. These guys don't get enough love, you know, and at the end of the day, like, you know, like Toomer said, I mean, we're doing it for, you know, as an artist, like you do it for everyone, but like everyone doesn't do it for you, you know what I mean? Like you know, being an artist like myself, like I can see like it's hard, like, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, every little bit of support is appreciated, and
Yes.
but yeah, shout out to those guys that rock with these guys, and you know, shout out everybody who tuned in today. Shout out you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
But
Yeah,
One
thank
last
you so much,
probably
man.
one last
probably end it with that.
one
but-
last word is you gotta learn the difference between guns and butter. What are the guns? That's the stocks and bonds. That's the artwork. That's the shit that appreciates with value. And what's the butter? That's the cars. That's the clothes. That's the jewelry and all that other bullshit that don't mean shit after your body. So guns and butter.
This man's speaking facts out here.
Man, get out of here with that lame shit, man. We ain't trying to talk none of that. I'm just playing.
There is one thing actually I did forget. I apologize. What can we expect for like the album, like the new album and the release? Like,
Oh,
what can we
man.
expect?
you can expect a lot of like I was saying before, like just universally applicable stuff, enhanced production. The production is absolutely flame. This is the best record I've ever made.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm very eager for the world to hear it because I feel like after I'm gone, the world can pick it up and it can be theirs, and that's something that I don't take pride in, you know, because there's nothing to take pride in. It's just like I'm just doing the work and I'm just a man, and that's what you can expect. And I hope it inspires people to keep that realness up and not get lost in these ideas of fame and Instagram and all this shit, man, because they want your soul. They want your fucking soul, and they want to put it in a box and then it's theirs. And it's like, no, your soul is your soul, and it's inside of you and it's outside of you, and it makes up everything. So keep it real. And that's the vibe of the album.
And that track 4 is a heater too.
Oh,
That little Gentry Fox
Yeah.
feature on there, yes,
we
sir.
got the one Gentry Fox feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just to name a couple songs. Transcend, The War, Grateful, Grace, Changes, just to name a few. So that's kind of like just to give you a little vibe. So
Yeah, the whole thing's a banger. I'm excited for people to hear
You're
it.
mixing it?
I didn't mix it.
You
No,
did
I
mix
I
it?
did.
sequenced it, but
yeah, I had a sequence that I built that I had worked on for a long time, and I was like, yeah, this is it. And then Gentry was like, bro, this arrangement sucks. Check this out, and then check this one out. And I was like, both of these are great, but this first one you sent me, oh my god, this is like sequenced by the gods of hip hop. So yeah, it's a fanatical album. I hope people love it.
Yeah, definitely go. You guys definitely go check that out.
Nothing's Perfect, April 17th,
Yeah, April
2021, this
Yes, sir.
Saturday. Yeah, the album's going to be out on all streaming platforms. We'll have CDs at the show at the Broadway Theater. We're going to have all kinds of shirts and merchandise and fun stuff. Yeah.
And last thing, where can everybody find you, as far as like links and?
I know one thing that people get mixed up, and it's Tumor with 2 zeros and a 3. So T00M3R. All streaming platforms anywhere, Spotify, Amazon, Google, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that jazz. Anywhere that you stream music, you can find us. So
yep, you can find Gentry Fox, gentryfox.com, or any platform at all. Facebook, Twitter, pretty much everything. It's all Gentry Fox.
Also Subrock Records.
Yep, subrock.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Subrock Records.
Yep, subrockrecords.com.
And keep in touch.
And Louvain Music. That's my brand. That's my brand that I made for my music. It's kind of low key right now, but there is a website, louvainmusic.com. So it's Luveren, Louvain, and it's actually a word that I made. I made up a word, and it's Louvain, and it means to tap into the way you feel in the moment and take control of it. And then it's like a Star of David with a circle, and then a heart chakra symbol in the middle. So it's like the 2 triangles coming together to make the star represent like the mind and the heart merging together, and then it's in a circle to show that it's one whole thing, and then the heart chakra symbol in the middle, because like that's where your power comes from. So
that's hella cool. I really like that you guys are very concept based. Like you guys have a very specific idea. Like it's not just like some finish and post type of shit. Like it's like, you know, I mean, you guys are very professional.
Thanks.
I can tell.
Yeah,
so.
we strive to be, and strive to show others that they can too, without having to do all this fancy extra stuff. So or spending a bunch of money on things that you think are, giving your money to people who you think are gonna help you, but you come to find that you just got to spend it on yourself and help yourself.
For sure. But yeah, so we'll probably just end it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, man.
No problem, guys. It's been a dream come true for me, and for you guys too. So
yeah, it was a great time.
Making history here. You know what I mean? Starting something new. And I'm just excited. I mean, just seeing the success, seeing the reactions from everybody. I'm just excited to keep going, and I don't know. I mean, just after I did that Rock Springs show, or Wyoming show, I just got a lot of like my insights went way up. Like it was crazy. Like just to see everybody.
Man.
Yeah, but
more people are tuning in, more people are becoming aware, and more people are realizing that, that shit that the man is handing to us is garbage. There is absolutely garbage. So we gotta, support the real people who are doing the real thing. And it's not just me. It's not just Gentry. It's all you folks out there too. So be in touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for having us, K-Dot. Thank you, Rock Springs and Green River. One love to the earth.
You're listening to The Bro Show on 91.3 FM, KWWM, Western Wyoming Community College.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, people don't need religion, religion needing the people, thinking they can deceive us, pushing agendas of evil, take the bills from the sheeple, now they build a cathedral. Yo, I remember the days when we would light up the diesel, thank the Lord and be peaceful. Yeah, I know that what we needed is inside us all. Stop following people, just teach you to